And I remember getting the call at home, it was the night before my son's birthday. And so I was kind of excited and scared at the same time. And, so my in-laws drove me up here and stuff. And I just remember coming out of the surgery and I just had all this energy and I just could feel it right away that, I wanted to sit up, but they wouldn't let me sit up. And I think I actually broke the record for getting out of the hospital the quickest. At that time, I was the 8th one ever done at the U.
It was the night they called. For some reason, I didn't feel like going to bed, so I got out very old photo albums that we had from when we first got married. I was just looking through them. And my wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just looking through these pictures." And I must have known that they were going to call me. And she wasn't feeling well that night. She was not feeling well at all. And sure enough, they called about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we got up and got ready and raced down to the hospital. And I had my heart transplant that morning.
When I was diagnosed as a child at 4 years old with a major hole in the ventricles, there was no hope for children at that time. My parents were told that I was going to die and that I could have maybe a year or two and then I would just gradually dwindle away. A day later, the doctors had read an article in the AMA magazine about these fellows over at the University of Minnesota. And they gave me a second chance in life. My mother still has a handwritten letter from C. Walton Lillahei accepting me.
When I was here, I got a call from my donor's mother. Because it was so experimental back then, it was in the newspapers and everything, and they knew that I had to get their son's heart. So they called and they wanted to meet me, and so I said, well, yeah, of course. And so they came here and I met my donor's mother and father and his sister and brother, and they told me about him, and we still keep in touch, through all the years.
Thanks to the University of Minnesota and the staff and the doctors, I'm here today because they give excellent care. I mean, excellent care. They're compassionate, they're professional, and they just care about you. You hear stories about doctors not caring about you, but here they do care about you. I even met one of the housekeeping guys who every morning come in and say to me when I was in ICU feeling down, he said, "You look great this morning. You look fantastic." And some days I didn't want to hear that, but other days I was glad he came by. But every morning he said the same thing to me. "You look great," and that was a great morale booster.
We have been very impressed with the growth of the cardiovascular program at the University of Minnesota. We knew Dr. Miller, who started the program and was influential in bringing it along, but then when Dr. Gary took over several years ago, it seems like it has expanded at even a greater pace and covered new areas and important areas in the cardiovascular research. And Dr. Gary has been very helpful in keeping us informed, and we have every confidence in he and his team in bringing this program to even greater heights.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death worldwide. It's the #1 cause of death in our country today. And we all are impacted by heart disease, each one of our families. And so we at the University of Minnesota, we're committed towards finding a cure for heart disease. We've led the world in innovations and their applications to heart disease. We undertook the world's first open heart surgical procedure. We discovered the heart-lung machine. We implanted the transistorized pacemaker. And more recently, we've used pumps for the treatment of heart disease. We've achieved a major milestone in the transplantation of our 700th patient. And we've utilized cell therapy for the treatment of heart disease. So these innovations along with our ability to leverage our energies, our resources, our collaborations across this great university, and our ability to translate our discoveries from bench to bedside have allowed us to make a significant impact in the treatment of patients with heart disease. So your investments in our program is going to allow us to build and grow a top 10 cardiovascular program by 2015 and to continue to impact and treat our patients with heart disease, ultimately to cure heart disease.
I've always said the university creates legends, living legends of people who can repair children's hearts and repair all people's hearts. And I'm very happy to be involved.
For this road that came unexpectedly, it's been a journey. Without the University of Minnesota, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know. You know, they're so professional here, they're so knowledgeable here, and this is the place to be in the state of Minnesota as far as I'm concerned. I mean, anybody who has heart problems and they tell you they have to have a heart transplant, I would suggest you please come here because they're going to take care of you from every need.
You know, and I just thank God for the U because, you know, I had 2 little kids at the time, and I got to see those kids grow up, and now I'm a grandma of 4, and yeah, life is pretty great.